Welcome, race fans, and welcome to Talladega Superspeedway, for tonight's running in the BNR Cup Series. This is the final race that we've got before the playoffs start. Let's take you down through the field, and then we'll get together with Will. Starting off on the pole is going to be John Tiller and Dylan Berg on his outside. Row 2 is going to be Jackson Lomax with Chris Schaefer. Row 3 will be Jason Pearson with Tyler Myers. Row 4, Brian Huntley Jr. with Jacob Carter. Row 5, Philip Bridgman and Cameron Smith. Row 6 is Brandon Moore with Brock Page. Looks like that's all of our entries tonight here at I'm sorry. Row 7 will be Nathan Line with Timothy Cook. Row 8, Josh Small and Jacob Delgado. Row 10, Skylar Sixton and Gary Madu. Row 11, Aaron Bradford and Chris Campbell, bringing up the rear of the field. It's going to be your rundown of the running order for tonight, and bring Will in. Will, how you doing tonight?
Well, doing pretty good tonight, Chris. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Excited to see some super speedway racing here with the final race before the playoffs start.
Yes, Talladega this evening always seems to bring a good atmosphere, a good race, more than likely. Hopefully we'll see them side by side, not just single file, follow the leader type action tonight. So just have to wait and see what's in store. Looks like pace car is already down and away. So that one brisk pace lap that we got to see now in the restart start area. Lights are out and green flag a waving. We're underway, Chris, for 94 laps. That's, I want to say, 250 miles around here. So that would be, in theory, halfway distance in real world and also the distance of a truck race. So already we have some drivers that qualified in the top 10 already now optioning to go to the rear of the field. They're just trying to not be involved in any hard racing early on, or don't want to get caught up in a wreck. But sometimes you can have that game plan all day long to ride in the back, but you still get caught up in something, or you don't really quite, maybe possibly at the end of the day or at the end of the race, have what it takes to have the perfect move to win the race because you haven't been up front the entire time. So it can hurt you, but it can help if you can avoid all the carnage and melee. But good opening couple of laps here. Everybody kind of getting straightened out. We see this bottom line, everybody kind of falling in single file. It happens a lot, especially with 94 laps. That's a long time to ride around, log the laps. You don't really want to start really getting racing until about 10 to go. So long time to ride. And this evening, the fuel mileage, these cars, I believe, only getting 20 to 25 laps on a full tank of gas. So now we do have some drivers partaking to get racy. We have a whole outside lane forming now.
That's a beautiful thing, Will. Already starting to stack up.
Looks like that's Cameron Smith in the 8 leading that outside lane. So a Chevy with a couple of Fords behind him. And then Tiller's still down low. He's got Lomax behind him. So that bottom lane, even though a lot of the cars jump to the high side, it's still looking strong on the bottom. Tiller, Lomax, Bridgman, I believe Myers is down there as well. So I would say that's a good foursome to have in a group. Really, to be honest, with this new plate package, our super speedway package, with the way these cars are, 4 can sometimes be enough in a draft, and you can see really racy here early on. Still got 90 laps to go. You got Jacob Carter in that 22 Verizon car, Penske Joy Logano paint scheme. So then right behind him in the 45, Jacob Delgado. As Jacob Carter getting out of the draft now. Sometimes these drivers will kind of get racy a little bit, see what they can and cannot do, and then they'll fall back in line and just ride around, log these laps. So here at Talladega, 2.66 mile oval, and the start finish line is not where it is traditionally at most racetracks, you know, in the tri-oval area, or in the middle of the straightaway where it is at Daytona, or, you know, Atlanta, pretty much everywhere. No, it's just right here, right out of pit exit, basically, right after you come out of the tri-oval. You get a short piece, and then bam, there's the start-finish stripe. So got to keep that in mind. If you're going to make a move down the back straightaway, you're definitely going to want help, but you can, if you can get alongside somebody on the front straightaway coming out of 4, that's a long drag race to the stripe. Got to keep that in mind towards the end of the race. So get a good look here of the onboards, just how kind of difficult it can be, because once you're riding behind somebody, you can't quite see through the car in front of you. So you have to trust and rely that that person in front of you is, you know, holding a good straight line. It's really what you want here at these type of places. Talladega, especially Daytona, Atlanta. These super speedway plate tracks, or tapered spacer, whatever you want to call it, to where you have to hold a nice steady wheel, and everybody just have a good straight line basically through these straightaways, and especially in the corner. But that draft, or that toe, that dirty air, gonna get you up a little bit through these corners. Really, most of the time, that dirty air can be what kind of shakes the car on the track, just kind of moving it back and forth sometimes. But so you see that line of cars that's just beyond, just a few seconds off this pace of the front 12. You have a handful of cars back here. They're just riding around. They are, like I said earlier, they are in that ride around, biding my own time, just being super conservative. This can go to hurt, because if that front pack gets too far away, then riding back here has kind of been all for naught. You still want to have space, buffer, and time to check up, avoid any wreck or anything that could happen. But at the same time, if you lose that, I guess you could say, delta, that space back from the front leaders, or that front group, back to where your little group of cars are, if you can't maintain a pace or a certain lap time, a certain delta, then you're just, this option, that could be where you finish the race, is back there in the back of the field, outside of the top 10. So goal here probably tonight would be, yes, win the race. Pretty much anyone can win this race this evening, but you got to be in the right place, right moment, right timing. Sometimes, not all the time, but most of the time. That's important, but you got to be there at the end. And right now, if that back group maintains this pace, they're just going to keep falling further and further back. I don't think they'll be there. They could be trying to go longer with the fuel mileage. That could be a thing, but I don't see that coming into play.
Almost seems like they're just kind of having trouble staying lined up well.
Yeah, that too as well. I do agree.
Wobbling.
But Tiller and Lomax, they have a good pairing up front. Tiller led pretty much, I want to say, the opening 10 laps here. He has been challenged here and there, but for the most part, been quite contained early on here.
What happened to that 66 car?
I'm not too sure what happened to the 66 of Berg. That is a good question. The 66 and the 29 currently one lap down in the 20 or the 38 of line is 26 seconds.
I thought he was up front there and fell back.
No, you're good.
But the Cameron Smith and Chris Schaefer, they keep trying to make a high line go. It's like Smith really wants that high line to form up. He keeps trying over and over and over.
Yeah, Cameron can be quite aggressive at the plate checks as far as trying to make something happen, lead a lane, or just be racy, I guess you could say. Try to make it exciting. He would most definitely be one of the drivers, like he has been, to try to get something going or working, but nothing going right now in his favor as far as getting a line formed or getting drivers to want to venture and be racy at this moment in time. Everybody's just kind of progression, just logging these laps.
See, Myers just shoot down below the line.
That might have been Brock Page earlier that was behind Bridgman. Similar paint schemes as far as sponsor goes on the 6 and the 36 machines, so can be a little bit confusing as far as, you know, you're trying to remember who is who, so my mistake.
Now they're starting to break up into 3 packs. This one being
yeah, I think there was
Pearson.
a checkup earlier. Something happened, like you said, Myers went down below. Something occurred. There was a checkup, and they were checking up for something. Somebody got out of the line, and yeah, like you say, now different. So you got the front 6 have broken away. Then about, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then 6 more cars have a breakaway of their own, and then back to that group back there that is way back in the distance. So but now it looks like that second group got back in line and they chased down the front group, it looks like. So everybody, as far as, you know, the front, what is that, front 11 cars all caught back up now. But there was something accordioned or log jammed for them to get up the throttle and have to be about, I think they were a second and a half off the front six. So something occurred. We just didn't catch it at the time, unfortunately. There goes Cameron again, trying to go out and make that second lane. Now he's going to have a couple of battle buddies to go with him, but that's not enough. A little bit of separation there on the bottom lane, but the top lane was not able to capitalize. And now that top lane, bit disformed now. They're going to have to find some holes, get back in the bottom line and try again. As Schaefer going up top, nothing there, just peeking the nose for fresh air perhaps. Oh, check up. So Tiller trying to control this race the best possible, and when the bottom lane finally everybody got back to Lomax and Tiller, because there was some separation there from Bridgman from the 3 and 4 earlier, just a lap prior. So once everybody got back, there had to be a checkup or somebody was going to get ran over. So now you have Schaefer and Smith out in the outside lane. But that's still not enough working on that outside lane. They could just keep pinching, but sometimes that pinching and side drafting can only go so far. And then, oh no, sideways, get Schaefer across the nose of the 8 machine, and possibly, who else? I believe that was
Bridgman.
Yes, indeed. The 48, Philip Bridgman, the Cobalt Tools Chevrolet. Hard contact for the 23 of Schaefer. Toes knocked out of that car. And don't know how much damage the Bridgman machine's going to have. Let's get a look at the replay here. I think Bridgman might have been able to get on the binders just enough. Hopefully, maybe. Might still be. Yeah, still, that's a pretty hard, blunt impact on the rear of the car. So, have to wait and see here. Getting a push on the exit of these corners can be quite drastic and a bit tragic, as we just saw there. So, got to be careful when you are receiving and giving pushes and bumps here in these races, as you can kind of get the person you're pushing. If you were the pusher, the pushee, you can kind of lift his tires up off the ground, or just bump him in a bad spot to where the car exiting the corner is just going to unload. And like you said, no caution out for that incident. They were far enough off track, off racing surface, down below the racing line. So no caution.
Yeah, and even if they get their cars fixed, it's going to be hard to get back on the lead lap at this point. Well,
yes, indeed. Chris, valuable point there, unless a slew of cautions happen and they're not caught up in it.
Hey, watch your mouth, buddy.
Hey.
Don't jinx us.
Well, 20 laps and, we're still green, surprisingly enough. And back again with the top 6 breakaway. That's Tiller, Lomax, Smith, Delgado, Myers, and Pearson after what transpired. A push gone wrong out of 2, so a couple of players out of the mix here early on. Hate to see it, but then you got 3.5 seconds back to Brandon Moore, Jacob Carter, Brock Page. That threesome there, just don't know if they fell back by design or maybe checked up. Something occurred. Maybe they're just on their own strategy or game plan, maybe checking up for some teammates further back. Time will do tell when we may see that those cars back up again. Excuse you. But should be expecting pit stops in just a matter of laps here. So that could be another reason why we see driver pairings pairing up here, are trying to find, I guess you could say, your battle buddies are the people you want to be packed up with in your little group. I think if this threesome of Moore, Carter, and Page, if they just had one more, they might be able to run down that top six. Just, like I said, sometimes four can be better than, five or six or a big group of cars. But a bit of separation we see here. Looks like Cameron Smith going to try to get a run on Lomax and Tiller. So he's going to try to take that run to the outside, one would suspect, but I don't think maybe, well, I guess not. You would think all that checking up, bicycling, or just backpedaling he did, he was going to try to get a run and pass Tiller and Lomax before this cycle of pit stops occurred, but doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Because he is most definitely not really trying to stay up there on Lomax. He is, like I said, it looks like more or less just trying to generate or create runs to attempt to pass, but not making the pass known, I guess you could say, or wanted. So I was told about 25 laps on a tank of fuel, so if we are going to see further, might get 27. So that front six had some breakaway, but that threesome surprisingly has run them down. And even Bradford, Huntley, and Smallback here, these three guys, they've kind of been trying to chug a lug and run down, the front runners as well. So something happened to Skylar Sigston in the 99. He is out of the race, so might have had a disconnection problem or something occurred and had to step away. So that's sad to see Skylar out of this event here at Talladega. So here comes the first and second place drivers to the pits, Tiller and Lomax, as we get a good look at the creepy safety car driver.
That's not the best setup camera, is it?
I mean, he is staring in his own void. I tell you what, he is. These iRacing little I mean, if you're going to be working with somebody, that is exactly though how you want to enter and exit. Good pit stop for the both of them to basically enter how they came in. They can still be their, like I said earlier, their little battle buddy or their drafting buddy, because that is definitely what you need here if you're going to be getting around this place. Don't want to be getting around here alone, that's for sure. That would be a long race. Bridgman back out there 2 laps down. Schaefer is yet to get out. So just reporting back on that. So as we see this other group, you could kind of imagine why the first and second place drivers pitted Tiller and Lomax about a lap or two, a lap before all these other competitors did, because they were able to just save that extra lap, as Tiller and Lomax, they were leading that entire time. But holy moly, look at Tiller and Lomax come down, barrel into 1 and 2. They're going to have a pretty good buffer, I would say, when this all gets straightened out here. But that's not to say that some of these other drivers can't get organized and run this little two-car tandem pairing down, because it most certainly can be done. It's going to take a little bit, but they got to get organized. Everybody's got to get in line. And we have a decent amount of separation, I would say, throughout that big group that pitted. So Brian Huntley, biggest mover, one would have to say, of the race, if not him or Pearson, just because one would have to think Brian might not have taken any tires there, just gas, to get him in the position where he was. I want to say he was running 10th when he pitted, and he was a couple of seconds. He was a few seconds back. He was behind the Carter, Page, Moore trio, so he has jumped a lot. So Myers, Smith, Pearson, Huntley has got in a group here. They've got a 4-car group going. Like I said, 4 can be a good number with this next-gen car. As we see the pit stop strategy stint length here. So 25 laps for Tiller and Lomax, 26 for pretty much the rest of the field that are the runners on the lead lap here. So looks like these 4 drivers, if they can just hold a good line, like we talked about earlier, all about holding a good line, if they can get that going for them, stay in that line, they're about almost 3 seconds. They were about 2.5 seconds off the front 2, which right now is the dastardly duo of Tiller and Lomax. They've been working together since the drop of the green flag. First and second at the moment, but these 4 drivers behind them can't really get nothing going between them as far as co-opetition. As you see some big pushes from the 8 to the 6, as look at that, Tony the Tiger, you got the phone company there and more motor oil. They are trying to catch up to the foursome. So that would add a bit more mile per hour. I think Brock Page's nose, it could be an illusion, just the way the stripes are, but I think his nose, right in the center, is bucked in. Looks like somebody went and like thumped it, on the Castrol 36 machine. Looks like somebody just went like a piece of paper. And could have got that damage earlier during one of those log jam accordion checkup situations. And yes, indeed, lots of damage on the front end of that machine. Not enough to be required to make him sit there and wait for required repair. Don't know how well that car would be out front, but I would imagine pretty fantastic pushing. Lomax has somebody right behind him. They got 3 cars, so one of the lap down cars has fallen in behind.
That's Nathan Line.
Nathan Line. I couldn't get the number on it. Thank you. Yes, Nathan Line has dropped in behind Lomax and Tiller, so also got the Hot Wheels machine of somebody. That's nice. That's cool. Got a Hot Wheels machine car I guess that would be Cook in the 29 possibly.
Yeah,
But
that's what that is.
So yeah, not too bad. So could be a good reason why those 4 cars have not been able to run down the top 2, because of the help of the 2 stragglers. That's what I like to kind of call, lap down cars, or cars that are off the pace. They're stragglers. So Bridgman's still suffering with some damage. That car, the alignment all around could have just got skewed as far as the body, or just the chassis when he backed it into the wall. And it's repairable enough to get it back out there and log some laps, but unfortunately 2 laps down at the moment. He's going to try to fall in line here behind that 4 car, but not sure if he's got a toe of the draft. Maybe going to have to try whenever the other 3 get to him.
Got just a bunch of broken up packs now.
Yeah, pretty much, Chris. Bunch of broken up packs. Some just a tad bit quicker than others. You can just see all the separation. Pit stops, the great equalizer, I always like to say as well, and you really saw that with what transpired. Some of the winners and losers from the first green flag wave of pit stops that we had. So caution free, 35 laps complete here at Talladega BNR Cup Series. Glad you're with us. 1-5 Studios broadcasting here on YouTube. Will Roberts and Chris Camary there. Lots of concentration. Talladega is more mental than physical, always. Go to Bristol. That can be a bit of both. But a place like Talladega, Daytona, Atlanta, if you are actually pack racing, if you can get packed up, you can, in a way, be thinking of your next move, what you need to do, or what you can be doing. So these cars can be covering, a football field a second, I think it is, or every 2 seconds. I want to say it's a second.
Yeah, those lap
Something like
cars.
that.
Those lap cars of who's that, Line and Cook? Those are
Yes.
really making it tough for Myers and the rest of these guys to catch up to them. Having those lap cars,
It
it's kind of
is.
just stopping them from having to close that gap up,
And like I said, 4 cars can sometimes be better than 8 or 10 or 6. And we saw that a while ago. They actually picked up a handful, about 5/10 on Myers and this group that he has leading. Don't know if Tyler may have some type of damage that we don't know about, or he just could not, maybe, I don't want to say he's a bad lead car. At the moment, he's going up to the top, so maybe giving somebody else a chance to lead this line of cars, perhaps, but that's still going to give that front, anytime you have cars side by side, that's still going to give that front duo, even though they have a couple of lap cars with them, that's going to give them a bit more speed, because these guys are side by side, trying to get organized, trying to get in line, trying to figure out who is the best leader of the group can sometimes be very detrimental to what you're trying to accomplish. And they lost a whole second during that exchange of Myers falling to the rear of the group, and looks like Smith taking over the reins of the lead at the moment of this group. But can they run back down, as far as can they at least take that second back that they lost? But yes, Cook and Line, the 38 and 29 machines, Cook is 2 laps down, Line is 1. No problem. You know, they're not really putting up a fight against the leaders. They're, you know, they're in mind, they're in tow, they are minding their P's and Q's, I guess you could say. So they're doing their own race. They're unfortunately off the pace at the moment. I'm not saying that they don't have pace to be in a pack or leading. They most certainly do if they can be up there with the leaders, but unfortunately they are just off the lead lap. So we have 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. So 3rd on back to 9th, all in a line finally. Then you have Delgado, Maydew, Bradford. Well, Delgado and Maydew, they're kind of on their own island. And then further back, you have Bradford, Smalls, Campbell. You know, they're kind of where they were before that cycle of pit stops. They didn't take the Brian Huntley strategy of, I guess, just taking gas, or Brian, I guess, didn't allude his teammates in on what he was doing, because Brian most certainly jumped them, or maybe they just didn't have a good pit stop like Brian did, because they are still back here, and like I said, they are 21 seconds off the leader, and like I said before, that green flag cycle of pit stops, that can be very detrimental to trying to be there at the end of the race. So we can see where they are. If this stays green, 41 laps in the books at the moment of 94. So if this stays green and they continue to be that far off the pace, just that these 3 Ford Mustangs where they run, you never can tell. But it looks like that line of cars from 3rd on down to 9th, so the 6 cars finally got in line and chased down the leaders. Chris, were you wanting to do a crank it up, or you were just switching over the overlays?
That is your call, Will. If you'd like to take a break, you can absolutely crank it up.
Oh, okay. Well, we can for just...
Does sound like a good time to do it, though, so let's crank it up. back to Talladega. Enjoyed the crank it up session of the broadcast. Tiller's still out front leading with Lomax behind him, Line and Cook. Lap down cars pushing. And we can see Smith has brought the rest of the field up to the back of that lap down car. Myers trying to start a line on the high side.
Yeah, right when Cameron got to the back, him and Pearson, they darted up to the top, try to get something going. Best we've seen anybody just about get beside Tiller since earlier. So good run, good momentum that they had. They took their run, timed it just almost perfectly. Now the Hot Wheels machine of Cook going to fall in line up top. They just need a few more cars to go up there. Maybe that momentum around the high side could carry them if they just had a little bit more help. That's truly what you would want if you're Myers in that 6 machine. But they're doing it on their own at the moment. Looks like Myers might lead this lap, and he will. Pearson and Myers, they're going to fall downstairs and lead that bottom lane now. They take over the lead of the race. So new leader now, Tyler Myers in the 6 machine. So the front, what do we have here? The front 9 cars that are on the lead lap are all up here in the mix, including the 2 lap down cars. Do we have more than 2? Nope.
Yep,
just the
cars.
2. Cook
just
and
got kind of spit out, hung out on the outside, and fall back to the end of the line. But he'll be able to join back in behind Huntley.
Yes.
Line's still up here in the mix. New leader, though, Tyler Myers.
Lomax almost got shuffled out there. Got to be careful. But Cameron Smith backing up again, trying to get one of those runs going, it looks like. But now, oh man. Nathan Lyon. Really, I don't want to say sketchy, but that would really make me worry. I don't know about you, Chris, if I saw somebody do what he did coming out of turn 4.
How about Dicey?
Almost like he's... yeah, slicey dicey. Almost like he's playing a hopscotch with himself, in a way. But, yeah. Go back to what we just just about beat to death with, holding a really good line here. That's what you really want and need. Yep, pit stops yet again, just in time. So 25 and 25, so just like we saw earlier, lap 50 here, so...
Tiller's going to bring those 2 lappers down.
Lomax didn't pit with Tiller. Lomax pitted with Tiller last time, remember, at lap 25, yeah, but this time...
Are they teammates?
No, I don't think they're teammates. I think Nathan Lyon and Tiller are teammates. I'm trying to read.
We should be back live now.
At a moment there, some checkup going on, and he had Carter kind of checking up there for Huntley and Smith in front of him, I do believe, so. But yet, Tiller keeps having some really good pit stops, like you alluded to, as Pearson and Myers getting past. So change for the lead. Tiller back in the lead. That green flag cycle of pit stops has cycled out. So Tiller and Lomax has found each other back again, together again. And Cameron Smith now in third place. So got Pearson in tow right behind him, Brian Huntley. Myers behind Huntley. Carter, Page, and Brandon Moore. That is the top 9. Delgado, Smalls, then Maydew, Campbell. That is the rest of the drivers on the lead lap, even though Campbell in danger of going a lap down here in just a moment or two. Then, of course, line on first car 1 lap down. Bradford must have had a long stop.
On the back bumper, Chris Campbell, we can see leaders coming in hot right here.
Bradford and Campbell must have had a long pit stop here. This last round of pit stops in order to lose that much time. They were over 20 seconds off the lead. Josh Small, 26 seconds, so Delgado and Small. So must have just had a very long or bad pit stop for Campbell and Bradford to lose all that time, and for this lead field, our pack, lead front pack, to go around them. Tiller, Lomax, Smith, then Pearson, and Brian Huntley up in 4th position. That is the, 5th position. Driving the 4th car, so top 5 there. Approaching lap 60, 50, or we are on lap 60, my apologies, so 60 laps about to be complete, as Pearson, Huntley, Myers goes to the top, trying to make a top line forming. Smith not really helping Lomax and Tiller. Smith backpedaling, going to the top lane now, falling in line behind the 6. So top lane trying to take possession of the lead. So Pearson and Huntley. Myers, I don't think is clear. Waiting, oh, now he's clear, then they can drop, but riding on board with the 6 of Tyler Myers, sitting currently in 3rd position, right behind Brian Huntley. Brian pushed Pearson to the lead around Tiller and Lomax. Tiller, who pretty much led a good portion of this race, closing in on 30 laps to go.
So given that we stay green, we need to see at least one more round with green flag stops, correct, Will?
Yes.
Around 75, 80, somewhere in there.
Should be between, yes, one would have to say between 75 to 80, maybe 79. But yes, that is correct. If it stays green, and we should see the final pit stop of the evening around that time. So all about trying to form the runs the best you can, get them, and decide when you want to take them. Also trying to build strength and numbers. Try to recruit people. Say, hey, will you work with me, so and so? And if so and so says yes, I will, then you got to trust and rely on that communication. And if you believe that they're going to go with you, then you can take that move and go. And if you don't try, then there can never be a do, I guess. But anywho, and hey, if that person doesn't go with you to the outside, or when you make that move, no matter where it may be, then you can just remember next time that he's behind you. Hey, can't trust him, can't rely on him. So if you could throw him, then you would. But some people don't have the strength to throw others. So excuse me. Not everybody is world's strongest man competition.
Oh, we got something going on here. Well, Bridgman and Smith. Hold on, what happened? Looks like Bridgman. Alright, let's take a look here. Bridgman, oh, just loses it in a very bad spot. Grabs Smith.
Well, in the trioval, the cars can be very ill handling, and we know that his car, it did suffer some damage in that wreck that happened well off the racing surface. That caution was not called for, so could have had some damage to where he was just turning through the trioval, and the car just turned too good, perhaps, for him from that damage previously, and just came ironically down across the nose of the 8 and gathered him with him. But I don't know if that could be some form of retaliation, payback, or because it was the 8 that pushed Schaefer down into him. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. We just know that the 48 of Bridgman was out there trying to recuperate, log those laps, and I think perhaps you can have a flat tire in iRacing. He could have had a blown tire at that point. Lots of different possibilities to be thrown in there. But that is one competitor now out of the mix. Race of attrition, this has kind of fallen into being, as far as just being up at the front towards the end of this race. So
It's a super speedway, Will.
yeah,
Just gotta make it to the end.
you gotta really, gotta be cautious, gotta watch out for others, gotta watch yourself. It is it can be a game of inches. See, a good amount of separation, 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds from 5th place to 6th. So
Not sure what just happened
back
there.
to that.
Huntley went down below the apron and Tiller sent it up high. They're back in line now. Having, as my buddy Will would say, a moment.
Yeah, for sure. Don't know what was transpiring there. I'd have to agree with you. Maybe they were just trying to catch themselves. But yeah, back to that more Page and Carter separation. Don't know if this is planned, but they're kind of, or maybe something happened after Bridgman and Smith got together while we were in the replay and we didn't catch that. And that's why they have a lot of separation. But sometimes Moore and Carter and Page, if they're in the race together, they will try to normally work with each other on these plate tracks. So no surprise there to see them working together. So up front, though, Pearson, Huntley, and Tiller with Lomax and Myers. That's the top 5 breakaway. And you got a couple of lap cars back here with Moore and Carter. So now in that 25 to go period, well within the fuel window or pit window now, you can pit now. And if it was to stay green, no green, white, checkered scenario. Even if you did have maybe one, you should be able to make it. But you would think in about 4 to 6 laps, we would start seeing everybody pit and make that final pit stop of the evening. Top 5 have a real good breakaway. Who in that top 5 would be pitting together? We have seen Lomax and Tiller work this evening together and pit together, but that doesn't mean that they're going to this last time, because the previous pit stop, they did not come down.
Oh, we got cars around well.
Oh,
Still no caution, though.
Cook and Page, something happened here.
Oh.
Oh, no. Carter hooked Page, I believe, as he went out. They were going to move out, it looks like, to pass Cook. Page had a blinky moment, perhaps. Oh, there was a checkup or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, another wreck that a caution did not proceed. So
that's 3 pretty aggressive wrecks, or multi-car wrecks anyways, you know, and no cautions.
Well, down off the racing surface, that's just one of those things, Chris, I guess, that, you know, very light cautions, I guess you could say sometimes. I don't know how the caution system truly works in iRacing.
It's very odd.
Sometimes.
Some tracks are different.
Yes.
Like we had the truck race at North Wilkesboro last weekend, and I went around and I was down on the grass and the caution came out. But then you have Darlington, where you have cars completely backwards in the racing groove against the wall, and the caution doesn't come out. So I don't know. I think some tracks just need more refinement for their caution zones.
Yes, most certainly, I do agree. Well, have to wait and see here what type of runs can be produced after this final cycle of pit stops. Just wait and see who's going to pit with who. You would suspect Pearson and Huntley might work together and pit together. Tiller and Lomax and whoever Myers wants to pit with, Myers might try to choose to go with Huntley. But you don't, like we talked about earlier, you don't want to pit alone. You want to have somebody or some bodies help either this lap or the next lap to 2. We should see the front runners pit. Could be 17 to go. Who knows how well they've been able to save. It seems like some drivers able to get 2 laps sometimes, or a lap every time the pit cycle occurs. So, but yes, most definitely at least the front car or 2 in the front of a group is going to be using more fuel, leading the group around. So not pitting that lap, so maybe 19 to go mark to 18 to go. Might have even, like I said, dare to say as far as 17 to go. So 9 cars left on the lead lap. So if a caution was to occur right now at this dreadful moment, Chris Campbell would get his lap back in the 68 machine. That would put 10 cars on the lead lap. So got to have no mistakes coming on to pit road for this final time. You don't want to speed on entry. You got to hit your marks just right in your box. You don't want to overshoot the box.
I'd say Brian Huntley's paint scheme is pretty gnarly.
Oh,
Wow.
Tiller is going to be pitting all by himself.
Oh,
no help.
Wow.
No help whatsoever. So he obviously couldn't go another lap. So you have Lomax and Myers, then Huntley and Pearson.
Wow.
Out of that front 5 breakaway. I'm just as speechless as you are whenever it comes to that, not trying to go another lap or pit with somebody. And
yeah, no one to draft it. You might as well just park it.
not trying to say that this has been a snooze fest of a race. It kind of hasn't. It's been exciting the entire way through, but just the separation that the groups have had, and just that's kind of what happens getting on and off pit road at times that we have had. The multiple green flag pit stops this evening, that is very awesome to have. Love to see it. And caution free up until this point, 16 laps to go. If you leave in all those things, the knock on wood and all that other good jazz to keep it going. But yeah, pretty much the front runners in pit road now. Lomax out. Lomax gets a big jump on the group of cars he pitted with. So Brian and Pearson. Pearson gets in line behind Brian.
That wasn't a very good stop for Huntley, though. Because if you noticed when they were coming in, he surged ahead of Pearson, so he got to pit road quicker. But he was a 3rd car out. Lomax is gone, which is actually not good for him. He needs to back it off because those guys are going to catch up and just send past him.
Unless Tiller, where's Tiller? I think Tiller might have had a bad pit stop because there's something. Because he's way back.
Well, he ended up being on his own.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, he was on his own for a whole lap, while these other cars were still at speed for a lap. Got to remember that, you know, those other four stayed out that lap, so
Here they go.
he did lose.
Splitting right around Lomax. Just like that. They open up, form around him, and see you later. Lomax is going to probably be able to tag on. Go ahead, Will.
Oh, yes, most definitely. I was just going to say, so that gives Brian Huntley the race lead here. Pearson looks like going to fall in line behind Huntley. And Myers never could get around Lomax, so Lomax going to fall in line to third place. But Huntley truly doesn't have the lead yet. They got to get it from Carter and Moore, but they will successfully, as they're still on the access road getting up to speed. So.
Whoa! Oh, wow.
Yep.
Whew. That was sketchy.
Yep, could have been disaster, but near from it. Brandon Moore and Jacob Carter just might have enough momentum, enough speed to fall in line behind.
They're not falling in behind. They're going out to the high side, Will.
Yes, indeed. They took a run to the outside.
There we go. 13 laps to go. They're going to start trying to make some moves.
So 6-car breakaway at the front of the field. Out of the 9 cars that are remaining on the lead lap. We have 4 cars. It looks like 1 lap down, then 2 cars multiple laps down, Cook and Page. Page just kind of innocent bystander. He was riding along, and then they just had a checkup whenever they went to get out of line to pass one of the lap machines, and just chaos ensued there. But now, yes, man. Close maneuvering, very close maneuvering, as Brandon Moore and Jacob Carter take the race lead now. Carter giving
and there they go!
Carter.
Wow!
What a save by Brandon Moore. Right across the nose of Jacob Carter. Yep.
Whew.
Pushed him so good, he spun him out.
They are now, not Carter, playing around now, Will.
No. I said the push time would be about 10 to go. They started when they came out and finished that pit cycle with about 15 to go. So Brian Huntley now just giving all she got to the back of the 22 of Carter, just pushing him completely around the track in a tandem.
Yeah, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that. It looks like he's pushing him through the corner. Brian Huntley is just being relentless.
So,
yeah, I'm literally on the edge of my seat, Will. This is freaking, I can't believe he's pushing through the corner like that. I feel like we're watching that show, Seconds from Disaster. Hopefully not, but...
Five cars up here in contention to win this race. Brian Huntley, real good pusher at these plate tracks. Goes back in line to holding a steady line, a steady wheel to be the lead car out front. Pearson taking a look to the outside, but nobody's going with him. Never mind, Myers goes to the top. So 2 cars up top. Now Brian Huntley going to lead that front group, or the high side, my apologies. So going to take some momentum around the 22. So 3 cars to the top. Coming to 9 laps to go.
Man, Brian's showing us he knows what he's doing, but he is making me hold my breath every freaking move he makes, though.
Well, it is very difficult to be the leader in the closing laps of a race like this.
I'll remind you, well,
kind of.
Huntley also being last week's winner at Martinsville, too, so he's trying to go back-to-back.
Yes, indeed. Back-to-back winners. My apologies. Yes, that would be nice to get back-to-back wins. If I'm not mistaken, he also did that last season from Martinsville to Talladega, so trying to do that yet again.
That would be something.
Yeah.
That'd be very cool.
Certainly in contention in the closing laps here this evening. BNR Cup Series here at Talladega Superspeedway, Talladega, Alabama. Talladega National Forest. Brian bumped back down to 3rd as the duo of Myers and Carter gets around him. So Lomax almost off the pace from the front 4. He still should have the tow, though. 7 laps to go at the stripe. Going down the back straightaway into turn 3. Myers leads. Carter, Huntley, Pearson, Lomax, and then Brandon Moore, Tiller, Delgado, and Small. That is the cars on the lead lap. Six to go at the line this time by. Front 5 broken away. They have over a 19-second lead. But who in this front 5 with 6 laps to go? Basically, might as well say 5.5 laps to go here at Talladega. Who in this front 5 will be the victor at the end of this race? It has been caution-free with some questionable wrecks in between. A lot of good green flag pit stops to weed out, the best of the rest. Pit stops, the great equalizer, you like to say, you would like to think. As really good pushing from the 22 and 4. Get some separation from Pearson and Lomax. Lomax just doesn't have anybody, has no help. Berger wasn't here tonight, and Schaefer out in an early wreck. Smoke down on the bottom. Somebody down on the bottom of the track having a malfunction.
It's Aaron Bradford ended up off track.
Well, looks like he got it back going again, just getting back up to speed. So, going to have to work around the 41 car. They're going to do that, looks like, successfully. Four laps remaining.
That 22 looked indecisive whether he was going to try and move around the outside or get back down low.
Yep,
Driving out
Jacob
his mirror,
Carter.
too.
Any one of these 5 competitors up here, you would have to think as possible, have the capability of winning this race. Tyler Myers leads with 3 laps remaining. Jacob Carter in second, Brian Huntley third. Jason Pearson sitting in fourth. Lomax. That rounds out the top 5 there, those 5 cars. It's all come down to these 5 competitors. You see Brian Huntley could be bicycling back, pedaling, just to get a run on the front 2 of Carter and Myers.
That's gotta be it. Well,
but is it too early? That is 2 laps to go. Myers kind of puts his car in the middle of the track as far as being the bottom lane. That makes Carter have to go there as well. So Huntley gets the run at a bad time in the center of 1 and 2. Nowhere to go. Can't even pull out there because you would just hit a wall of air and that forward momentum would cease to exist. So if you're Brian Huntley, you would really want to lay off again. Coming to what would be the white flag lap here, but Jacob Carter has done the exact same thing, backed off of the 6 machine. Myers has to see that in his mirror now. Checks his mirror and sees that the whole field, well, the front runners here backed up to try to get a run. Now the final lap of the race. So if you're Tyler Myers, you would think, hey, I'm a sitting duck because you have everybody behind me that could make a run, build up a run, and come up and pass me. So a lot of defensive driving. We could see here now in this final lap, Tyler Myers goes as low as he can. And here comes Brian Huntley. Brian Huntley building a run now down the back straightaway into turn 3. He's only going to have Pearson. Lomax is not there to help. He goes to the outside. Pearson trying to go with him, but not there. Huntley going all the way around, goes around Carter. Carter is now somewhat disposed of. Yes, indeed. Pearson now back to the back bumper of Huntley. Huntley now goes downstairs, down low, underneath Myers in the tri-oval. Huntley goes back to back, wins it at Talladega.
Oh, Huntley does it. That was incredible. Well, unbelievable.
Yes.
I did not think he was going to be able to do it.
Man, he really did some moves there in the tri-oval. Like I said earlier in the race, that start-finish line being where it is. So coming off of turn 4 is when you really want to start making your moves. And he really sliced and diced, really roller coaster, elevator type of maneuvers, and did what he had to do to win this race. Made those moves, passed everybody efficiently, and just, I also think, biggest mover of the race because he was way back there with all those teammates of his. And that first pit stop, if it wouldn't have been for that first pit stop where he jumped everybody, I don't think he would have put himself in position if not for that. So got to go all the way back to that first pit stop, about lap 26, I believe, is when he jumped all the cars he needed to align himself, get in where, you know, the front runners were in about that top 6-second bracket, or that range, about that top 5 place. And
what is he doing?
After that, doing some burnouts, man.
He's just doing like half moons around his teammate there.
Yep, he's trying to do some victory celebration there. But big congratulations. Like we alluded to, Brian did this in the playoffs last season in BNR in the Cup Series. He won Martinsville, then went on to win Talladega. So back-to-back feat yet again, and back-to-back wins of the season. So good momentum for the 4-car and Ford driver.
All right, well, while these three teammates are doing their teammate burnout, take you down the final running order. Brian Huntley, of course, your winner. Jason Pearson bringing it home in second. Tyler Myers is third. Jackson Lomax in fourth. Jacob Carter ends up in fifth. John Tiller brings it home in sixth place. Josh Small ends up in seventh. Jacob Delgado, eighth. Gary Madu, ninth. 10th is Brandon Moore. 11th is Chris Campbell. Nathan Lyon is in 12th with Aaron Bradford in 13th. Timothy Cook is in 14th. Brock Page is 15th. Cameron Smith 16th. 17th goes to Philip Bridgman. 18th is Dylan Berg, with Chris Schaefer ending up in 19th and Skylar Sigston in 20th. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get with our top finishers, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. We've got our top three finishers with us. First off, we'll start with Tyler Myers. Tyler, bringing it home in third place tonight. Tell us how you did it.
Well, a lot of strategy. Stay up front. Stay out of trouble. Ran out of fuel as we're going to turn one after this line, so had enough fuel for the rest of the race.
All right, well,
a lot of hard work. Got passed in trial. It will.
That was a great finish, though. Well, who do you want to thank for your sponsors tonight?
Oh, Castro Ledge. Just BNR in general.
All right, congratulations on the top three, Tyler.
Thank you.
Jason Pearson, second place finisher. Jason, you led a good bunch of laps out there with Brian pushing behind you, and ended up bringing it home in second place tonight. Tell us how you did it.
Yeah, it was I had a lot of fun in that race, man. I didn't qualify up front like I wanted to, but I mean I was still up in the top 5 at the start. Just seemed like a lot of white knuckle driving there, and I just wanted to drop back, just make sure everybody was getting comfortable and getting in their groove. Start bringing the heat on later on in the race, the last 20-25 laps. I had some awesome pushing. Tyler, Brian, everybody. I mean, they really made that race a blast, fun to drive.
Well, you guys put on a heck of a show. As soon as you guys were done with the last round of pit stops, you just started going for it, and like I said, put on a great show for us. So who would you like to thank tonight, Jason?
What's that, buddy? What did you say at last part?
Who do you want to thank tonight?
Let's think about the whole BNR Racing League, man, just for allowing me to have this opportunity to run with them, have fun every week. It's really been a blast. Um, Give a big shout out to Ramrod Designs for my paint scheme, man. It's been a blast racing this paint scheme. Big Dogs Racing League, Big Dogs Gaming on Facebook. Look me up, give me a follow. Um, Mad love to Tyler and Brian for everything they do, and glad we could have kept it together there without getting took out by any lap cars and made it to the end there.
All right, congratulations on that second place position, Jason.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, and we're here with our winner, Brian Huntley. Brian, unbelievable. First of all, 2 in a row just for that. And that finish right there, man, me and Will were on the edges of our seats. I didn't think you could do it, and man, I'll be lying if I wasn't say I was happy to see you in front there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. All I can say was capitalization on pit road. That's where I gained most of my spots. Not once did I get hit with a speeding penalty. Not once. I got it down. So the first line I clocked 66. So the second line is what matters, and I got it down to 55 just in time. And I was doing it every time. So I think I gained majority of my spots in pit road. Because I think our first pit, my whole team, SHR, me, Josh, and all them, we were in the back at like, I can't remember, like 14th and 15th. And out of nowhere, I come out like 6. I'm like,
We
Okay.
did notice, yeah, we did notice you picked up a lot of spots on pit road on each stop, and that first one being a huge one.
Yes, sir. That's for sure.
So tell us, run us through the last corner, I guess, as you're making your moves there to make it happen. Tell us about it.
Yes. Well, I was communicating a lot with JP and Tyler. Unfortunately, Tyler got out in front. I was dragging the brakes the last 2 laps to keep JP with me because I knew Jacob Carter and Tyler were going to be there. So I'm like, okay, just stick with JP. And so we build up that little momentum. JP wanted to go a lap early. I told him, no, wait. And he waited, and then he said, I know, I was getting a little antsy. I'm like, that's all right. I do this with everybody. You want to time it right? That's the way I do it. So coming out of the backstretch, coming out of turn 2, going on the backstretch, I drove the brake halfway down. Enough to where I kept the suck to the back of the 22 of the draft. And then once I got halfway down, I laid back down on the gas, and then that gave me JP, and I know my teammate was back there. Unfortunately, a rough night for him in the 41, Aaron Bradford, but he was back there too, so he gave the extra shot to Lomax into JP, and then JP into me, and then me, JP took the run. We were coming into turns 3. I took the side draft from Mr. Carter. Carter tried to run me up, and then Tyler tried to come out and block. So I was also mirror driving too, coming into turns 3 and 4. And I saw JP starting to go down. I wanted to make sure he was clear by Jacob Carter first. So I was watching my mirror, make sure JP was clear. When I saw JP go down is when I went down and I told JP, I got you. So that's pretty much how that last lap went there tonight. But
well, you guys linked up about mid-race and made it happen. Working great together.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So after that first cycle of pits, I cycled out behind Tyler Myers and all those guys up there. So I'm like, well, and my other teammates got shuffled out in the back. Couple got hit with a penalty for getting in a little too hard. So I shuffled out with Tyler Myers and JP. So I stuck with them since, and I was hoping that my other teammates will get caught up to us on the next pit stop. But fortunately, that didn't happen. So I stuck with Myers and JP to the end, and I told them, listen, each pit stop is on you two. Either if Tyler, you're leading, then it's on you. If JP, you're leading, it's on you. You let me know when. I'll stick with you guys to the end.
All right. Well, Will, what do you got for him?
Well, just a big congratulations, Brian. I know last season in the BNR Cup Series and the playoffs, You won Martinsville, then went on to win Talladega the next week. And ironically, you did the same thing again this season. How does that make you feel knowing that you basically did the same thing back-to-back seasons?
Yes, well, Martinsville, I wasn't expecting to get that one, but pit
Yep,
strategy and
both wins either. Like
yeah,
really,
yeah,
like
that was, but
because you
just
had to
for
go through Cassidy and both
exactly,
wins.
yes. Cassidy ended up getting collected a little bit, overshot one of the turns. He slid up, he hit one of the other guys on the outside. I capitalized on that, and I saw that I took every advantage of that. Got on the gas a little bit harder than I wanted to where the rear end kicked out. I lifted enough, and I got back on it, and it set the car right. And then I just set straight. It was the white flag, so I wasn't worried about that. I was just worried about getting to the line at that point because they were sending it in towards the last lap. So that was that. I mean, but
Yeah, but just to do it back-to-back seasons is a feat within and of itself, and this is going to give you some good momentum in the coming weeks. You know, we kind of had that off week, uh, and everything gets everybody cycled back into that racing mentality to carry forward into the coming weeks. And but nevertheless, back-to-back wins for you.
yes, sir.
Congratulations, Brian.
Thank you very much, Will. Much appreciated, as always.
All right, who do you want to thank before you get out of here, Brian?
Well, the first ones I want to thank is you two, Chris and Will. You guys put on a hell of a show every week. I enjoy going back watching it. Commentary is fantastic. Will's knowledge is awesome too. Um, both feed off each other. That's always great too. It helps each other out, which is the best thing about having duos. Um, Second and most, I want to thank JP for sticking with and to the end after a first cycle of pitch, and Tyler Myers too. And I'm not taking this one for myself. I'm doing it for my whole team. Josh, Aaron Bradford, Chris Campbell, Skyler. We'll put Skyler in there. He started hanging out with us a little bit. So this one goes out to all those boys and their dedication, their hard work, and just the time they put in to strategize things up and get them better. And second of all, my family. Always keep your family close. I had a rough couple of weeks with that. So always keep close to family. And once again, you two, you guys are just fantastic. And we appreciate you two so much for everything that you two do. And keep you around for as long as we can. Everybody says they enjoy it. So that's going to be our plan to keep you guys around for a while. So as long as you guys keep putting on a kick ass show, you guys will be here. So looking forward to going into the round of the playoffs, giving you guys a show, give you guys something to talk about, and hopefully bring you guys more excitement. That's for sure.
Yes,
Uh,
indeed, Brian. Thank you very much. Kind words. Uh,
Yes,
like I
sir.
said, can't wait for the coming weeks and you know what's to follow. More great racing. So can't wait to see it.
Yes, sir. And once again, thank you guys very much. You guys have yourself an awesome night.
all right, congratulations on the back-to-back wins, Brian.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
All right, well, that's gonna do it for us here. Any final thoughts, Will?
Well, final thoughts. Talladega BNR Cup Series this evening. Caution-free race for 94 laps. Like we said, about 3 or 4 incidences. I want to say 3 that we probably could have had a yellow flag, but iRacing was like, nah, we better not. Other than that, intriguing, interesting race because you got to think about the pit strategy. Who could go further on the fuel? Who was able to go further out of the people who were able to last in the front of the field this evening? So that was intriguing and interesting to watch throughout the entire race. Good race all in all, and can't wait for next week and the coming weeks, Chris.
All right, well, it's always good to broadcast with you, Will. But that's gonna do it for us here at 1-5 Studios. We'd like to thank you for joining us. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the BNR upcoming playoff action. Starting next Saturday right here on the 15 Studios channel at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So again, we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at the next track.